Welcome to episode 6, where we're going to talk about the future of Malifaux. What's in our control and what's not in our control. How much of the future of Malifaux is really in our hands. Don't forget to rate and write a review for us. You know you're our favorite listener, and this will help us find more people almost as cool as you. Enjoy the episode. There are few things better than sitting at a table, unplugging, and going to battle with some friends. Welcome to another episode of Tabletop Talk. If you're looking for strategies, reviews, and tips on everything related to board games, card games, and miniature games like Malifaux, you are in the right place. Hey friends, it's Craig on the third floor. So Weird just announced last week that the open beta is officially closed. That means we are one step closer to full release. What needs to happen now is they're going to do some, finalizing of the rules, any last changes based off of the most recent feedback. They're going to do some proofing, and then Weird is going to start sending stuff off to the printers. Once all of that comes back, then I think then we can expect to see Malifaux 3rd Edition to be released, which is really, really exciting. I think it's possible that before we get the printed cards and the new rulebook and things like that, we might see a print and play version put out there. So all of the cards for all the models that are available and a PDF of the rules. I would anticipate that'll all be available for free, and we could see that relatively soon. I think it's even possible, in the next month or so. Really kind of depends on how much last bit of tightening up and, how prepped they were to get this stuff, into the templates and stuff and, the format the cards and whatnot. But we're close. I think that come Gen Con 2019, we're looking at a printed rule book and having all of the card packs available to buy. And I don't know about you, but I really miss Malifaux. Like a lot of you, I kind of stopped playing when the beta, the 3rd edition was announced. And, kind of lost interest. Played in a couple more events after that. And, I still love the game, but it was really tough to fully invest in it knowing, or really not knowing what was going to change. I was really happy when the open beta got out there because it gave us a chance to take a look at really kind of the direction things were going from alpha through the closed beta. And now, we really have a good idea of what to expect. And I've been watching the feedback really closely. So I've been watching Twitter closely, Facebook closely, and I think it's pretty overwhelming, both here in the U.S. and, watching my friends over in the U.K., that people are pretty excited about this 3rd edition. I know here in the local NC meta, we're very excited about it. So I think that Gen Con's a good guess. So let's talk a little bit, as Malifaux fans about, what's important to us. I think it's important to us that the game is good. I think that based off of the last release of the open beta, it's in pretty good shape. So that's good. What else is important? That we have people to play with, right? And there's things that we can control and things that we can't control. We want this game to grow. We want Malifaux to have more and more players because that means Weird does better, which means we get more goodies. It means that it's easier for us to find games, but we only have limited control. Here's what we can't control. We can't control how Weird is going to promote the 3rd edition of Malifaux. I think that I'm not alone in saying that it's concerning, the level of promotion in the retail of the other side. I am concerned that we will see similar lacking promotion of the 3rd edition of Malifaux. I hope I'm wrong. I hope that that this thing drops and they really, spend the time and effort and money, to be quite frank, promoting this thing because I want Malifaux to come back and I want it to come back strong. And I think that a lot of you out there feel the same way. But you know what? We can bitch about it all day long. We can complain about how Weird handled the other side, both from a Kickstarter perspective and as far as, the retail release. We can, bitch about how they, promoted M2E. But quite frankly, we can't control any of that. what I want to try to do is I want to focus on what we can control.
If you're an athlete, you know the greatest motivator of all is the fear of letting your teammates down. After all, a team is only as good as its weakest link. So you owe it to those wearing the same jersey as you to be your best every time you step on the field. That's why there's no vape in team. When you vape, you can expose your lungs to toxic chemicals that can damage your lungs. If you're a step behind, the team's a step behind. Brought to you by The Real Cost and the FDA.
So, first of all, let's talk about what we've been doing here on the third floor. As we got into open beta and we started getting closer to full release, that's when Ray and I sat down and said, you know what, let's start putting that together some third edition material. We finished up our M2E battle reports. We got those out on the YouTube channel. And then Ray and I leaned in and we said, we're going to start putting out videos based off of third edition materials. And those of you that subscribe to our YouTube channel, you've read or watched a lot of that material. We've done the complete guild faction reviews. We have got all of the 10 Thunders at this point recorded and edited. We're just, getting them finalized and released. And we've already got people lined up to talk about Outcasts, Rezzers, Bayou, Arcanists. So we're going to be, when we're done here on the third floor, we're going to have a video for every single master in M3E. And, we're doing that because, A, we love it. But 2, we want to get the ball rolling. And we can control that. We're starting to see some M3E material coming out from, some of the other standard media sources. But quite frankly, I'd like to see more of it. I'd like to see more podcasts come back to life again and start talking about this stuff. There's a lot to talk about. And that's stuff that they can control. But how about you? Maybe you don't have a YouTube channel. Maybe you don't have a podcast. What can you control? So I'd start with studying the final beta release. So print out the rulebook, look at the factions that matter to you, and really take a look at them. Study them, learn them, get a feel for them. Kind of step 2 after that is you got to play some games. So now that the stuff isn't changing week over week, it's it's pretty stable until we get to full release. So get those cards printed out and start getting some games in with other people that have been kind of there throughout the beta. But start talking to some people that used to play M2E that don't play anymore. And consider, if you think that M3E is as good as a lot of us think it is, then let them know. Be specific. Tell them what aspects of M3 you like. Is it how the keyword stuff works, or some of the tweaks they made to the rules, the simplification, or actually a better word is streamlining, some of the streamlining of the rules. Talk to some of the people that that maybe played Malifaux, first or 1.5 edition, and maybe even skipped over M2E, because I know the rollout for M2E was a little rough too. You have to start, preaching the gospel, for lack of a better word. Let them know that you're excited. And it's not a completely selfless act. Remember, we're trying to get as many people playing this game as possible. If you're not familiar with the other thing we're doing here on the third floor, we're going to be starting up as soon as M3E is announced. We're going to start rolling out again the USFO tour. So if you can go to thirdfloorwars.com and you can read up about the USFO tour. We've got a couple videos about it also on our channel. That might be a talking point for you as well. I mean, I'll be honest, M2E was growing, and slowly just gaining players. I know here locally in North Carolina, we were seeing more and more people show up on the standard game nights for Malifaux, and, it grew, and surprisingly, or unsurprisingly, it died down a little bit. But here towards the tail end of the beta, I'm starting to see more players again. The chats that we have going here in North Carolina are becoming more and more active. People are starting to get excited. And I recommend, you consider yourself being a catalyst for that, in your meta. Let's, it's to our benefit, not just Weird's benefit, that third edition does well. I can tell you that as a guy who's played a lot of miniature games over the past 15, 20 years, unequivocally, Malifaux is the best I've played. It has the best combination of miniatures, lore, theme, rules, balance. I've yet to come across another game that's, really comes close. Guild Ball is a good game. I like Guild Ball. But it's just not as deep as Malifaux. GW is putting out some unbelievable miniatures. They are way ahead of everybody as far as modeling is concerned, and casting too. The ability to put stuff on a sprue. I mean, their models go together great, but the rules I think are still clunky. They're definitely not balanced, and they just don't have the great win condition mechanics that Malifaux does. And as good as the GW games are, they're just not nearly as deep and not nearly as engaging as Malifaux. I think it's very exciting that the new rule set makes it point of entry to be much lower. You obviously the price point is much lower than a lot of games. I mean, somebody can get into Malifaux 3rd edition, and just spend $50 on a crew box. And because of now the way that the keywords work, you can really tell somebody that, you can buy a crew box and a couple more models and you're going to have 50 stones of a functioning crew. But I think also the rules are a lot more approachable than they were before, because of, the streamlining that was done. Let's be honest with ourselves. When M2E was towards the end of its life there, it was tough to get a new guy into it or a new gal into it, because there's so many models. The models were just so different from each other. The rules for each models were so different from each other. Every rule was broken in every crew, and it was tough. It was a lot of information to take in as a new player. The M3E simplifies that. The keyword system is a big deal. And, this is it. The game is still Malifaux. And I'll argue that 3rd edition kept, everything that made Malifaux. It made it more accessible. And I think it's going to be a better game. I really, really do. So we've got the depth. We've still got the theme. I think strategically everything is still in place. I think the game is more accessible. So it's up to us. Hopefully Weird is going to do their part. We can't make any decisions. We have no control over how much Weird is going to do or not do as far as promoting this 3rd edition of Malifaux. So that's my call to action, guys and gals. Think about what you can do to help promote the game. Not because we're shills for Weird. We're doing it because we want this game to, get the player base it deserves. All right, guys, gals, I appreciate it. Thanks for listening. Thanks for subscribing. Make sure that you check out our YouTube channel, of course. Check us out on Facebook. And you can look forward to some more podcasts, more videos, more articles on the website in the near future. This is Craig on the 3rd floor. I appreciate you putting up with my rant. Take care. Thanks for listening. Be sure to rate and write a review on this podcast so we can find more people almost as cool as you are. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube by searching for 3rd Floor Wars. That's THIRD. We'll catch you next time on the 3rd floor.